Hi everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Melody, or welcome if you're new. I'm Melody, and today we're going to be talking about how to make a successful solo debut. So I'm going to be comparing and contrasting Tzu유's recent solo debut of her song Runaway with that of Yeonjun's Ggum, because they both are, I would say, pretty successful in their groups and pretty popular idols in their own right, and they've both come out with solo debuts recently. So starting with Tzuyu. Tzuyu is, of course, the maknae and a sub-vocalist of the globally loved girl group Twice. She is known for her stunning good looks, her cute way of speaking, and her viral archery skills, which is referenced in the trailer for her solo album About You. She is the third member of Twice, along with Nayeon and Jihyo, to make a solo album. She has unfortunately been under scrutiny in the past for raising her home country of Taiwan's flag on a variety show when she was 16, shortly after her debut, for which she was publicly scrutinized and then made to apologize. Taiwan was and is currently controlled by China, whose government is a known enemy of many countries' governments, including South Korea. Because of this, a lot of her fans believe she has not gotten the same opportunities as her groupmates in regards to ambassadorships and hosting gigs. I know a lot of Tsuyu's fans don't like to talk about this past controversy, but we need to talk about it because it does affect her current status as an idol. This incident had wide-sweeping repercussions that affected the Taiwanese elections and even elicited a boycott from Chinese onces. Tzuyu was also dropped as a brand ambassador for a smartphone made by Chinese IT giant Huawei. Despite this, Tzuyu always has been a very popular member. She was voted the most popular idol overall in 2016, dropping only to number 12 in recent years. She has a very strong and vocal online fan base and ranks first out of the 9 members of Twice for popularity. In her Twice career, she has released 3 solo covers, 2 Christmas covers, and a cover of Taylor Swift's Me with Stray Kids Bangchan. These covers have a combined total of over 35 million views. So I would say both onces and Tzuyu biased fans have been looking forward to her solo for a long time. The ultimate duality of the music video for Runaway is that the feeling of run away from this relationship before I ruin us kind of vibe. Like I can't help but ruin the things that I touch or the relationships that I have because I either love too much or too fast, or something else will happen and we will break up. This can be seen in the very beginning when she is tying a bandage with a red string. This red string is probably referencing the red string of fate, which was also used in Twice's I Got You music video, among many others. In East Asian and Chinese mythology, those who are meant to be together are thought to be tied together with this red string. In the music video, Tzuyu ties the bandage with the red string, and then she cuts it. There is a bit of blood, which could symbolize getting hurt in a relationship and the inevitability of getting hurt. So mixed with this inevitability of getting hurt and the inevitability of having that one true love that she may not want to be with, as shown by her cutting the string and running away, the music video shows that even though she is singing to someone to run away, the song's message is really for Tzuyu and not the supposed lover in the music video. The background and colors of the music video go from being dark, bland, and muted when Tzuyu is with this love interest, to brighter outfits with more muted backgrounds when she is trying to get away, to even more brighter outfits and bright backgrounds once she is fully away, although there are moments where it's still dark, maybe showing how she is still affected by this past relationship, but how it isn't her whole entire life anymore. I really like this transition through the video and how it represents a bad relationship and how breaking free from one and not dwelling on it can improve your life and your mental state. The cinematography throughout the music video is very dreamy, which makes sense because in the very first title screen, the subtitle says, "The unfolding situations can be encountered in a dream setting, and everything depends on how you dream," insinuating that none of what happens in the music video is real. It is just a dream. This dreamscape romance of the music video switches from the bedroom scenes, which change from sensual to nightmarish, to the outside world where Tzuyu runs past other people in relationships and even possibly herself. There's a point where she runs past a bunch of mirrors, then the love interest wakes up too, almost like the spell is broken. I've seen others speculating that maybe she murdered him, but I don't really get that vibe. I think it's more like they were in a dream or a nightmare space together, and then the spell, like the love spell between them, broke. And we see Tzuyu in this liminal dream space, in her red dress and a railway tunnel in all black before she breaks out back into the real world in white. I love this contrast and how it represents the nightmare and dream stages of a relationship. I almost wish we got to see more of her dancing. There is but a small dance break near the end, but I feel like there could have been more. She normally does not get to show off much in Twice, not really since their debut anyway, and I expected and wanted to see more, especially since it's her solo. I love the scene in the railway tunnel because it's kind of the only time in the music video that she gets to show her dancing. The choreography itself is a bit repetitive, but it does fit the overall disco feel of the song. The dance does almost have a hypnotizing effect, so I kind of like how the love interest in the music video falls in love with her and then the spell is broken. So I can't really tell if that's what they were going for or if that's what the choreography settled for because of Tzuyi's skill set. In an interview about her solo, Tzuyu said, "I took care to focus on my facial expressions, especially playing up the intensity in my eyes. And I couldn't help but think, Tzuyu, why haven't you been doing this for years? You aren't a debut idol. Why did it take you being on your own to do something people have been criticizing you for a while now?" And this may sound harsh, and while there has definitely been some improvement, I still want and expect more passion from her, especially when comparing her to her group mates. She keeps her face and movements pretty still and controlled, and it would be amazing to see her go all out. She doesn't even have to be at Nayeon's or Jio's level of singing to give more emotion in a performance, and Tzuyu does have a personality of her own that she could use in her stage performances. We see this in her behind-the-scenes videos and around her Ernies and Twice often. We even see this in her live sample video for her solo album. Despite being an idol for 9 years now, I believe she hasn't really improved in this area, and I really feel that idols should at least appear to enjoy their job. And if Tzuyu prefers to do something else, like modeling, which she's really good at, then that's okay too. But what are your thoughts on her stage presence? Do you think she's improved? Some people have said it reminds them of I Just Died in Your Arms by Cutting Crew, and I agree, it has that kind of dark disco 80s dance vibe to it, and the strings and the piano really bring that out. It also really reminds me of Nobody by Wonder Girls. Which makes sense because that's also a JYPE song. But it reminds me a little bit too much of that, and I almost wonder if JYP Entertainment is trying to recapture the magic of Wonder Girls. As for the vocal performance, the instrumentals really do complement Tzuyi's vocals very well. She has this really nice mid-tone range, and I like that, and her falsettos really add a spice to the song. The song itself is not overall bad. However, I just feel like it's maybe a little bit too nostalgic and not new enough, especially for a solo debut. I think you can definitely tell, like I said, that it is a JYP Entertainment song and that it is sung by Tzuyu. It really fits their universe in that kind of disco style, and it is much more mature than people were expecting. But that maturity didn't put people, including me, off, because Tzuyu is in her mid-20s now. We just haven't seen that much from her on her own until now, and I think this kind of maturity is the perfect fit for her. It was just the right amount. Like I said, I would have liked to have seen a few more dancing scenes. Otherwise, the music video itself was pretty well balanced and got the idea of this romantic dreamscape across very well. The song is also very catchy and overall not a bad song. Tzuyu went on to say in that same interview, "When it was first decided that I would go solo, I started to feel the nerves, wondering if I could do a good job, you know? There were a lot of moments where I wondered whether I could really pull this off." She said it's always taken her a while to warm up to people and that she has always been reserved. As a fellow reserved introverted person who doesn't open up to people easily, I can relate. However, I'm not an idol. This solo had proven difficult to promote for her on her own, but it seems to have paid off. On the date of the debut, the About You album placed 7th in the highest first-day sales by a female K-pop solo artist, just above IU, and ranked number 1 on the Korean streaming service Bugs. But it did not make the top rankings on any other sales charts. Her music video is currently, at the time of writing the script, at 10 million views and over 4 million streams on Spotify. On Melon and Genie, however, 2 of the biggest charts in Korea, the album's performance was lower than expected. Fans were mostly blaming this on the lack of promotion from JYPE Entertainment. The album as a whole, however, did finally land on Billboard Top 200 albums at number 19 on September 17th, which goes to show that a strong fanbase can overcome a lack of promotions. Tzuyu is only the 3rd female K-pop solo artist in history to enter the top 100 of the Billboard 200, joining her bandmates Nayeon and Jihyo, who reached number 7 and number 14 on the chart respectively as soloists. Tzuyu also even took a stab at writing the lyrics for one song on the album dedicated to her fans, titled Fly. And the other songs on the album give a well-rounded view of Tzuyu and who she is. My personal favorite is Lazy Baby, which I think would have been a very cool and different solo, rather than the 2010s commercial pop sound of Runaway, which I feel like we have heard already so much from JYP Entertainment. I also feel like her stage presence and emotions can be much better seen in the short live clip for Lazy Baby, which just goes to show that maybe she has more of a personal connection to that song than Runaway, which would have made it an even better solo for her. Yeonjun has been known as Big Hit's legendary trainee, taking on the number 1 spot in multiple training categories over his 4 to 5 year training period with the company. He's the eldest member of Tomorrow by Together, which debuted in 2019, and he has been known as one of the best dancers in HYBE and K-pop overall since then. Yeonjun is also known for his unique rap style and his sexy and cool, sometimes gender-fluid fashion. He's done many song and dance covers, including To Guilty by Taemin, 3D by Jungkook, and many other songs with and without his members. He has also released an OST called Boyfriend for the K-drama Cinderella at 2 AM, which has recently become very popular. In researching for this video, I was trying to find any scandals or controversies that Yeonjun was personally involved in, just to be fair. So here we go. He wore a 6-pointed star choker necklace for a photo shoot once, and there is a lot of debate online whether this is a true Star of David or not. Since I'm not Jewish, I don't think that I have any room to say whether this was offensive or not. People who are part of that community can decide for themselves. He also recently had some photos posted to Weavers on Korea's National Liberation Day, for which he has since apologized. Other than that, he is not in any major controversies that would affect his solo or group endeavors in any major way. Yeonjun has also gained immense popularity for being known as the King of Dance Challenges, doing multiple challenges in a day and not shying away from the more feminine moves when dancing to girl group choreography. In the music video for Ggum, Yeonjun's performance is very his style and over the top. The split that he does is by far the most impressive part of the dance, and Yeonjun helped choreograph it himself, which is even more impressive. Ggum is more of a dance and hip-hop heavy beat, with a lot of vocal effects to make Yeonjun's voice sound higher and lower than his normal voice, which is kind of fun. On the surface, the lyrics are about him chewing gum, which can be seen as an act of rebellion, as in many places such as school or work it is seen as rude, or it is just straight up not allowed to chew gum. A lot of his actions in the music video are rebellious as well. We follow him around as he drips water all over a shop floor, litters, or breaks into a radio set, even flips the host the finger, steals a walkie-talkie, and blows a bubble so big that it pops all over the city. Not to mention the fact that he just dances all over this recording studio. In Yeonjun's interview with USA Today, he said, "When you're chewing gum, you can exude a certain swagger and confidence." One lyric in the song says that the audience can refresh their stale vibe with his taste. It's like he's calling himself a fresh piece of gum, and I thought that line was fun and creative. Yeonjun also sings about how he doesn't need to be humble on the floor about his dancing ability. The song itself is not lyrically complex, and there's not really a whole lot of hidden meanings in it, but there doesn't really need to be. It's just about having fun and being rebellious and cool, all the things that are representative of Yeonjun. The lyrics also say he has been dreaming about this moment when he could solo debut maybe, and that everyone should run with him to help him get higher, and that he's not alone, but he has his team on his side, which is referencing his fans, MOAs, and his team members. There are some neat parts where he almost whisper raps, and where you can hear more of his actual singing voice, which is really cool. We get to experience his singing voice a lot on Tomorrow by Together tracks, so it's also really nice to hear it in a solo. I do wish that they hadn't used quite as much of the voice modulation though, but it probably makes sense for the live performances because he will mostly be focusing on the dancing. Though, for the limited amount of lives I've seen so far, this seems to be true, and he has been singing live over the auto-tune parts. As it is a title track, we can't really expect it to be a ballad type of song, and even Tzuyu, who has a great singing voice, didn't do that for her title track. It was nice to hear a lot more of her singing too, as she usually does not get a lot of lines in Twice songs. Within minutes of dropping, Ggum was number 4 on the Melon Hot 100, number 8 on Bugs, and number 93 on Genie. Yeonjun was also interviewed in publications such as USA Today, which I've mentioned, and Yahoo News, which says, Yeonjun of popular K-pop group Tomorrow by Together isn't one to shy away from a challenge. Over the last 5 years, the Korean performer has built a reputation alongside his 4 bandmates as a versatile all-rounder who can execute any choreography or genre thrown his way. This sentence stands out against Tzu유's interview, showing how different their personalities are. He goes on to say that music plays a big part in his life and allows him to be really free and really express himself as he is. In addition to writing the lyrics, he also helped develop the dance for the song, which I said. He said the extra work was incredibly difficult, but he pulled through with a lot of support from his TXT members. Some fans have been confused, however, on the wording and promotion of Yeonjun's solo, especially with it being called a mixtape. In the past, Big Hit has used the term mixtape to refer to a single that wasn't released physically. This isn't Yeonjun's fault, though, and was probably agreed on by the marketing team. Reactions to the song do seem to be a little mixed. Some fans have said they didn't really like the chorus, but the verses are good, or vice versa, or that the song reminds them of the Gummy Bear song. And apparently, while the initial reaction to Ggum was pretty positive, it's now getting some negative reviews on places like Reddit and Twitter, the latter of which I don't really use very much, so I didn't know that it was getting some backlash until editing this video. However, sales numbers on his solo are still doing very well, so it could just be another situation of my group/bias isn't doing well, so I'm going to hate on someone who is, aka a hate train. Or it could just be that some people simply don't like the song, which is perfectly fine. But the sales numbers tell a different story. Some Redditors also had the same thoughts as me about the voice modulating and wondered how that would go with the live performances. The packaging for the album was also unique as well, with a minifigure keychain being added as a collectible and the graffiti style standing out. It also sold out within a matter of hours on Weverse. Tzu유's album is much more understated and definitely has more of a classy vibe. Overall though, Yeonjun's fans were very excited to see him do a solo, and his stage performances have been very lively and fun to watch. At the time of finishing this script, both music videos have 10 million views. Tzu유's in 2 weeks, and Yeonjun's in just 3 days. Despite the disappointing charting of Tzu유's Runaway, Twice's fans have pulled through and continue to support her on and offline. Tzuyu is still technically a foreign artist, which might affect sales and charts, despite her having been successful in the Korean music scene for 9 years now. In conclusion, I really think it came down to who can stick out more in an oversaturated market. Tzuyu gave her fans something they mostly liked, but for her solo to be a more commercial success, she needed that extra oomph and uniqueness that Yeonjun's Ggum has to push out to a new fan base. Trends in K-pop change so quickly that one has to work really hard to not become, as Yeonjun's lyrics said, stale. That combined with her unfortunate lack of stage presence, I think that's what happened with Tzu유's solo, more than a lack of promotions from her company. I really want to know what your opinions are on this, so leave me a comment down below. You can also find me on my social medias. I'll leave the links in the description. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing to me if you haven't yet already, I do K-pop commentary, reviews, and deep dives. You can leave a like on this video if you liked it. Don't forget also to drink some water, take your medicine, and eat something today. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!